I think we did great.
Thank you.
You, Adam. You can't keep us down.
Yeah.
Megadads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Mega Dads Live, the podcast where gamer life meets real life. That's right. We're some middle-aged fools who've been gaming for quite a while that like to get together and have a little fun for all of you. If you're listening for the first time or for the 100th time, thank you so much for being here. We are so excited to have you. We appreciate you so much. Little editor's note, you might notice that in the next couple episodes, Adam Leonard is taking a little bit of a break. He's gonna be back. It's not a rotating chair situation where it's gonna be permanent. Relax. I am here, your host for today, Antonio, aka Hypecaster, joined by none other than Evan. How are you doing, sir?
Hello. How's it going? I want to apologize in advance to everyone who's watching the video. I'm feeling very bald right now and very shiny on the top of my head, so
I'm like it.
A little bit of a glare.
I think it's coming in. I think it's the season where those seeds are gonna start to grow. So
no. This field is fallow. I'm sorry. There's nothing there.
The salt in
Alas.
the salt in the
Yes.
field. I understand.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. Like, I don't know about you, but I am so riding the high of Adam's pep talk that he had with us. He sat us down, he looked us right in the eye, and he said, "I'm leaving the show in your hands. Don't fuck this up." And I'm riding it. I am just riding it straight to the moon.
You should.
I'm super hyped. Now, you do help run the whole of Checkpoint, our companion podcast.
Yes.
So you're no stranger to that, but you've never co-hosted without Adam here.
I feel like not without Adam here. No. I've only ever been allowed to be on one other episode of Megadads Live.
Excellent.
As a whole.
Excellent.
So and there's I don't know if that's why I haven't been invited back that one particular time, but it was Adam's got something against me. I'm just gonna say that it's probably, well, I can't talk about it too much on in a recorded fashion, but we'll talk offline about the real reasons behind both his departure and why I'm not allowed on.
Adam, be a vengeful bastard. Hell hath no
saying.
fury. Like
saying.
Adam when his hemorrhoids are acting up. I am very excited because it's spring. It's newness is in the air, right? Like, things are getting warmer outside. By the time people listen to this, it'll be just post Easter season. Like, it's just that time of year. Everything's new, everything's fresh. I was walking around the mall with my family, and we were just stretching our legs, and we see the Easter bunny. So this is awkward because I didn't put any thought into this. Like, we're Christmas, like, Santa people, like, where we're doing that whole thing. But the Easter bunny just did not really enter my mind space. And now that my daughter is old enough, she was obviously going to notice, hey, there's a huge bunny person, like, sitting in the seat where Santa was just a few months earlier. But, like, off the cuff, she's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And I'm like, what do I do? Like, what kind of lore do I remember about the Easter bunny?
There's a deep Easter bunny wiki. You just got to consult that and you should be fine.
So I'm like, "Oh, that's the bunny man who comes out in the spring and he leaves eggs and candy, and if you're good, he washes away your sins." And it's like it's also tax season, and he has like a special write-off that he could speak to the government about to like kind of give you a tax break. And it's just this whole thing. Like in the spur of the moment, I couldn't remember a thing about the Easter Bunny. Like, what are you supposed to say? Like she was confused. I was confused. So I just know she's going to have just some deep misunderstanding about this lore. And I'm just, I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. Do you guys do the Easter Bunny and all that?
Well, how old's your daughter?
She's 4, so.
She's 4. Okay, so mine's 3. And she's kind of in a similar state where she's I blame daycare. Like, I think we probably could have gotten away without doing anything Easter-wise, if not for daycare. But she is very accepting of anything that gets her candy.
Yeah. Okay.
So, which is why I'm constantly patrolling for like white vans. Like she, it's not good. She is very much this person has a treat, I'm gonna follow them. So it's mind. It's mind. I don't want to say mind numbing. Whatever the opposite of mind torturing, I guess. Mm-hmm. Anyway, she's cool with it. Like you could I get candy, great. So as far as that's concerned, I think she's fine. I do worry though. We haven't done the mall, like the Easter Bunny sitting yet. Mm-hmm. We did Santa for the first time this past Christmas, and I worry that that's going to like set a standard for her, because it was part of this whole big like Santa's toy shop installation. And mm-hmm. it was they had all these stations. They had elves at all the stations, and you could see the different inventions of Santa and all this. It was this whole big thing before you even got to Santa. So I worry that that's what she's going to think like every holiday is going to get now.
Yeah.
Is we have to see Easter Bunny's factory or something. I don't know. Did they ever decide where he gets his candy? Has that been established? Like
there were like old cartoons that kind of like got into like some Easter Bunny lore about like how he came to be and like why he is the way he is. Like
what's that movie Hop? Wasn't that one?
There were a couple. Yeah, there were a couple ones like like 90s, early 2000s too that kind of got into it. But like there were like real old ones too, and I don't know. But you're right. Like, as long as there's some candy involved, I think that's really all they care about. Candy is bait for like young kids and aliens. If you ever saw E.T., I mean, you just lay it down, and literally everyone loves candy. And
I've followed more than my share of trails of candy into strange houses. So
who hasn't?
Yeah.
Mega Dad's being super positive.
Here in the show, we like to spread a little positivity around, so it's time for what we like to call Mega Dads being super positive. Now, in this part of the show, we try to look at the brighter side of life, at the upside. It's been a running theme lately that the more positive I get, the more life like really tries to like keep me down. So I had told Adam, like, I don't know what to do anymore. This is really hurting me, this segment. I struggle with it. Evan, what's your super positive?
If life tries to balance your positivity with inflicting negative events on you, my life hasn't gotten that memo. Because I'm one of the least positive people on the planet. It's just above where it becomes, where I can't have friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can kind of fake it enough where I'm not like a complete Debbie Downer all the time. For me, the positive aspects, like the things I look for the positivity, is weirdly enough is in history. It's not even like in the now. It's more like I have firmly lodged myself into middle age. And I watch a lot of documentaries, and this last little bit has been a lot of World War II documentaries and things like that. And the positive angle of that is you see kind of how bad things have been.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
to a lot of people, and how they have gotten through that, and how we're still here, and all of that. And that's I think where I get my positivity from, where it's like, all of this has kind of happened before, and yes, it sucks to be in it. Like I did hear, I've seen a lot of these memes of, I hate living in interesting times.
Yeah.
Or, I hate living in historical times. And there's absolute valid. That's an absolutely valid thought. But looking at the people that, listening to the stories of times, like obviously World War II is a big one for me right now, just because that seems to be like where the YouTube algorithm keeps sending me. I don't know what that says about me, but you look at documentaries about plagues or about wars or uprisings, things like that, and it's like, yeah, it there's a lot going on, and it's scary and all of that, but we're still here, and we're still doing this, and there is an element of positivity behind that, where it's like, yeah, I don't know what the future is going to look like, but that doesn't necessarily mean there isn't one.
Yeah.
And I have to tell myself that, because I've got my daughter, and I've got another one on the way here in a couple months, and you have to, again, I don't want to be like, you have to fake it, but you kind of do a little bit, because they're the ones that are going to have to make the changes that are needed to keep us going. So it's like, I don't want to poison them. That's been the biggest thing for me as a parent, is how do I keep my cynicism and my sarcasm and all that from kind of infecting my kids too much.
Wow.
And trying to keep them positive, and trying to, drain some of their positivity and kind of wonder at life. I still remember, if you want a single positive moment, my daughter just discovered mini corn dogs.
Oh man, life is good. Wow.
And life is good. She loves corn dogs, but she was so excited because they're the mini ones. They're the tiny ones that and they're individual, and they're not all that. And she was surprised every time when she bit into one that there was a hot dog in it. And it was just like it just blew her mind. Like she kept thinking they were just like balls of dough or something. And like, there's a hot dog in this one too. I'm like, yeah, they've all got hot. It was very cute.
Wow.
But it was like that, things like that. Like that's what I would say is finding those wonder moments, and those moments either forward or backward that can kind of give you what you need to just get through the day. Like, you don't have to have all the answers for what it's going to be like 20 years from now, or 10 years from now, or even 6 months from now. It's how do we get through today, and then we'll deal with tomorrow.
That's deep. That's really deep. And I've been in the same headspace. Like that's a really good outlook, because we shape so much of what our children's worlds are. If we can keep our cynicism and our, just that negativity out for as long as possible, they are, they're optimistic. They're like full of joy and stuff. So I want to keep that. I don't want to call it an illusion, but I want to keep it going. I want to keep it going for them. And that's a really good insight there. Yeah.
It's not even necessarily an illusion. It's just a perspective.
Yeah.
And it's the positive people aren't necessarily wrong, but it's, and the negative people aren't necessarily wrong either. It's just, you have to kind of pick and choose. There comes a point when you just have to pick and choose, okay, what am I going to believe, and then just run with it. And just own it, I guess, would be the best way to put it. But
you're so wise. You're so wise, Evan.
I'm really
Seriously,
not.
I'm
really not.
You're so wise and deep. You know what? My super
Honest to God, I haven't had any caffeine today, so it's a miracle I'm even verbal at this point. It's terrible.
I'm jumping off of your super positive. We're gonna get through it. We beat the Nazis once before, and we're gonna do it again.
Nazi super weapons.
Whoa.
It's a PBS series, so it always starts with, this show is brought to you by supporters and all this stuff, but it gives us the fantastic sentence, Nazi super weapons were brought to you by listeners like you. Like that sentence is just funny.
Statement.
It's just funny as hell to me.
Yeah.
That's like the opening statement. But it's not only is it kind of engineering porn, which as a geeky male I enjoy, but it's also like, look at how stupid people were. Everyone talks about oh, yeah, this great war machine or whatever. It's like, no, there's a lot of stupid decisions that were made, and it's all that. It's like, no matter how conniving and all of that people think someone is, there's a lot of moronacy going on in the background. So that's a series I recommend. But continue with your thought there.
RimWorld is a colony management sim developed and published by Ludian Studios. It's available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and has been for some time. The new Anomaly expansion releases on April 11th, 2024. On the show, we like to talk about video games. It's a hobby, it's a lifestyle, it's deep with us, and we want to talk about what we've been playing lately. So Evan, why don't you press start on this and tell us what you've been playing?
I have been, as I talked about on Checkpoint, most of my life is now Genshin Impact.
Nice.
And I actually just finished the Sumeru portion of the game, which is like the third or fourth. It was the fourth area that was released. There's one more that is out now that I'm slowly getting through. The other one that I've been playing a bunch lately, although today is the last day I'm going to play it. For a couple of weeks, and that's RimWorld, which I know you love hearing about.
Oh,
RimWorld.
yes, I love it. Tales from RimWorld. I love it.
Tales from RimWorld, because they announced the next expansion, and so I'm decided I'm going to put it on hold until the next expansion comes out, because I don't want to have to like unupdate it to finish the colony I'm on, because it's going to redo a whole lot of different stuff. So I'm kind of putting that on hold. But and I talked about this the last time they did an expansion. I think it was last year or so. The company that does RimWorld, Ludian, they do something that I wish more companies would do. They announced the expansion on March 13th. It's coming out April 11th. Like there's very little hype train to it. It's just like, it's coming out in a month, and you're gonna like it, and if you don't, go to hell. There's not these years of previews and all of this nonsense, and I wish more companies would do that, because I hate the long hype trains. I hate the fact that we hear about these games that are coming out in a year or two or whatever, because in the end I don't care. It's like, tell me when it's here. And that's all I need. And so I really like that Ludian does this very short kind of update cycle. Or not update cycle, but just the hype cycle, I guess. So Anomaly is coming out on April 11th, which adds, we've been talking a lot about positivity and look toward the future. And I think this is appropriate, because it's adding things like flesh beasts, let's see, monster containment,
sweet,
something called the dread meld.
Wow.
It's basically they're adding all like alien Cthulhu-y stuff into it now. So it sounds like it's going to be a huge update. And then in addition to that, they're doing the next version of the base game, which is, they've been very smart. RimWorld is one of those games that lives and dies by the mod community.
Yeah.
Just because it is so moddable, and also that the bare game I don't want to say there isn't much there, but there's a lot of room to grow. And so the mod world has just taken on this. Like the game I play right now, I think as of this morning, I have 311 mods in it. And that's like the barest minimum of nonsense that you can add to this.
Wow.
But what they will do is they will take, with each iteration, they will start to add stuff that like there are some mods that everyone gets, just because they're so useful, or they fix some sort of major issue. And Ludian is really good about looking at those mods and being like, okay, everyone's got wall lights, then we're adding wall lights. Mm-hmm. Or everyone's got this, or they play this particular way, then we'll add that in. And so I want to wait so that I can figure out what mods to turn off.
Right.
So that I don't have because right now I have 3 different mods that give me different kinds of ceiling fans, just because of the way things work. And it's confusing, because some of them are balanced and some of them aren't. So it's like, do I do the super fan or not on this one? And it just I don't have the brain power anymore to keep track of that stuff. So this will be nice, but that'll be in a couple weeks when that comes out. So
There have been 2 other or 3 other major expansions released for RimWorld.
Yeah, this would be the fourth.
The 4th. Okay.
Anomaly would be the fourth, and it was what was great for a while on the boards. So the first one was called Royalty.
Right.
The second one was called Ideology, and so RimWorld. People thought that the next there was going to be basically alphabetical.
Yeah. That would have been
and
cool.
And then the next one was oh god, it's not biology, but it starts with a B. Why can't I think of the name now? So then the joke became, well, it's RimWorld. And now with Anomaly, now it's like RimWorld. Like they're just slowly kind of working. The jokes are there, but yeah, this is the fourth major expansion, and it's from what it looks like. I've looked at it a little bit. There's a lot of weird crap they're adding into this, and it's what's funny about the like, I would love No Clip to do a documentary on the making of this game, because there's so much about this game, and like, it was pretty much made originally by one guy, and there's so much about that base game that it was meant for a very specific thing. It's you crash land on a planet, and it's very much like Don't Starve or these survival games where it's you crash land on this planet, you have to scrounge up supplies and do research and eventually build a ship to get you off that planet. That was the base game. He never meant for there to be, big trading or any sort of, like, no reason to stick around. Like, the goal was always to get off the planet. And the game has so much exploded out of his hands, and like it does so much more than he ever wanted it to do. And I would love to talk to him about like what that's like to just have it basically ripped out of your hands, and being made into something so much bigger than his initial vision. So it'd be an exciting thing. It may be just for me, but because I'm a nerd and I watch World War II documentaries.
Well, the reason that I think that happens at RimWorld is the bones make it so intricate and detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can go and land on a particular area of the planet and have everything from the topography to the weather to the like local wildlife, like kind of shape just the start of the game. And then every little thing, like this, whatever band of like marauders or whatever that are out there, like what are they like? What do they have access to? Then like, how fast are you developing? And then people react to it. And then right down to this is what my one colonist is saying to the other one when they're working nearby each other, and how does it affect their lives, and it gets that granular to this person is like injured because they have rabies from going out to go hunt that one time, and it's just like it's that deep of a game. So it's wild that, like you're saying, the community that's taken the game and ran with it has brought it like new life upon new life. So that's great. It's been quite a while since they released the last expansion then, right? Was this expected?
I want to say it was last year. The thing is and that's kind of part of the hype cycle, is no one, I don't think, really knew that there was going to be another one.
Wow.
I mean, they knew that there was development going on, like he's doing bug fixes and stuff like that, but no one really knows kind of what was going on. But like, apparently this expansion was like 18 months in the works.
Wow.
So like he's got these plans, but he doesn't really publish them. So no one kind of knows what's going on with this stuff. The kind of the big mod group is this, I forget the names of the guys, but they do a series of mods called the Vanilla Expanded, and it's everything. Like every aspect of the game has its own mod that just gets huge, and it's like those guys have a roadmap going out like 2 years, I want to say. Whoa. And this is just like their volunteer gig, basically. So it's an interesting kind of development world where it's just like, I'm sure they know what's going on, and I'm sure like some of the big modders know like stuff that's happening in the background, and the team's expanded. I don't know how big it's gotten now, but it's definitely gotten beyond the one guy. So it's an interesting kind of little thing, and it just keeps trucking along.
Do they release everything about the expansion, or do they like give you a gist of it and then also let there be things discovered or maybe full details once it's actually out? Like, are they just kind of teasing, here's kind of what's in there a little bit?
They will. So they're once they announced the Anomaly thing, like, so as far as the base update, the 1.5 version, all that's out there. Like, it's basically, here's all the fixes, here's the features we're adding, here's what we're doing, all this stuff. As far as like the expansion stuff is concerned with the Anomaly and that, they definitely tease it, and they kind of give you an idea of how it's going to work, but they don't. It's not so much a, these are the monsters you're going to see, or this is whatever this is. It's like, this is what you're going to be able to do, because they talk a lot about how this is a story generator. So it's always kind of couched in, these are the kind of stories you're going to be able to tell now. It's like, you're going to be able to tell these stories about, being essentially like an SCP agent, where it's like, you can go and track down these monsters and do things with them and all that stuff. But yeah, so they explain some of the stuff in probably bigger detail than the average kind of story-based DLC would do. But it's very much here's kind of the bare bones, but we're not going to necessarily go into what this means or whatever, and we'll let you figure that out. And honestly, it only does them so much good because of the mods. Who the hell knows what people are going to be able to build off of Anomaly? Like, even off of the other expansions that we've had, like the previous one, Biotech, that's what it was. Biotech added what they call sanguinophages, which are basically vampires.
Sweet.
Mods have added probably 8 or 9 different new types of vampires and they added like a whole society. They added a whole everything that was never in the DLC. So it's very much the DLC and the expansions have very much been about, here's new tools, here's new toys to play with, but you guys do what you want with it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where they go with it.
And they will. That community will take the ball and run with it. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. RimWorld. Play it if you haven't.
RimWorld.
Been out for quite a while, but it's a very deep game. This is like what I envy about you when you talk about the games that you're into and that get their hooks in you, and then you kind of go deep with them, and then I get that FOMO and I want to play. Fantastic. Fantastic. Headlines.
Yes.
We on the show, we like to talk about the latest, greatest blockbuster news and entertainment. And today, I want to talk about print media. So what's happened is, as you know, GameStop is kind of on the outs. A lot of people have not the best relationship with the retailer. They are financially always in the news for something bad, some reason about why brick and mortar in general and also gaming stores are on their way out, let's say. So as GameStop slowly dies, we have news that was interesting to me. Alex Van Aken was released a video the other day on Threads, and he was sharing the news about Game Informer making a big push for now offering standalone subscriptions to their magazine. So if you're not familiar, for years, GameStop had a deal with Game Informer. You went in, and as part of the GameStop membership, where you'd pay money for the privilege of added discounts, etc., one of the perks with the GameStop membership was, hey, you could also get issues of Game Informer. You pay whatever it was, $10, whatever, however much a year, and we're going to give you issues of Game Informer. And then eventually they were also like, okay, we will send you the print copy to an address, or you could just get the digital version if you don't want the print, whatever. I had a GameStop membership for quite a while because I really loved having the Game Informer, some quality content there. And after a while, when I stopped having GameStop membership, I did let Game Informer go. I believe they stopped it at one point altogether. So I was on the outs with this, not very informed of what was going on. Game Informer obviously has their online presence, so they have their website. But Alex Van Aken's out here and he's like explaining that there's this new push. This is an article from GameStop.com. Game Informer now offering standalone subscriptions. You can now buy a subscription directly from Game Informer instead of going through GameStop. For the first time, the long-running video game magazine Game Informer, which is owned by GameStop, is offering standalone subscriptions. Now, not only was that just intriguing to me, but what really caught my eye and what they're pushing is the cost of this. So as part of this promotion that they have going on right now, it's $19.91 for 10 issues of the magazine. Print issues sent to you. 1991 being the year that they had were founded or started. So $19.91 for 10 issues. And if you want to go up to 20 issues, it's only $35. 20 issues for $35. So I wanted to put this out there on the show to bring some attention to it because I think we should, support games journalism as professional as you could have it. The landscape is changing, but also print medium. Like I loved EGM back in the day. I had electronic gaming monthlies saved for years. I'm talking about boxes of them. And I loved my magazines, and I'd get other ones like an official Xbox mag, like here and there, or Nintendo Powers, like things like that. But I think I stuck with EGM for the longest. And I've been following different organizations that have popped up, One Up and all these things over the years, and I miss it. I miss it dearly. Do you have any fond memories of print magazines when it comes to gaming publications?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, Game Informer is for me a local company.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it's based in the Minneapolis area, and it or at least originally was. They may have moved or whatever, but I've got friends that have worked there and all that. So Game Informer is always kind of an interesting bit. In fact, way back in the day when I started my first video game podcast, one of the people that was going to be on kind of the main panel had to bow out. Almost before we ever did the first pilot, because she got a job at Game Informer.
Sweet.
So they poached talent from me from very, very long ago. As far as print media, I was that print media guy as well. And for me it was originally because I'm a hipster even when I don't even try. I was a big fan of a magazine called Video Games and Computer Entertainment. Oh man, which sounds like the Russian knockoff of EGM. You know what I mean? But the reason why I got so into them was one of the very first issues that I saw was an issue where you could they were running a contest to get a TurboGrafx 16. Which I wanted more than anything else I have wanted ever since, basically. And so I followed the issue basically because of the contest, and I just kind of stuck with it. And it was a lot of fun. I don't know how long it lasted, but there was a time kind of in mid-junior high-ish for me where I got out of the console gaming and became more of a PC guy. And so I moved to PC Gamer and all of that. But I love the magazines. I still love, there is something to be said about that kind of tactile experience. It's maybe because I poop a lot now. So it feels weird to have the tablet in there.
Yeah.
But no, there is something about that print magazine. And, not only is the print magazine world changed a lot in that time, but video game media has changed a lot in that time. And my hope is, and there have been experiments with this for years, where taking the print video game media to more of a to less of a news, less of a reviews angle, and more of a discussion or a commentary kind of angle. And I hope Game Informer can kind of balance that a little bit, because yeah, the reviews are fine, but again, it's print media. The lag is going to kill you with reviews, and it's just I don't see the point of that other than historical. Like, I'll read a 30-year-old PC gamer and laugh about some review that they like. I still remember there was an article. There's a PC Gamer article. It was their hardware section. And there was actually, like, the hardware guy was bold enough to say that there was never going to be, I want to say it was higher than a gigahertz processor. And I'm just like, dude, like even at the time, I'm like, dude, you're a hardware guy. You should never say something's never going to happen when it comes to computer hardware. But aside from that, like it's more interesting if they took a more commentary and more of a, I don't want to say a literary angle on it, but just something a little more meaty. Could be really fun with that. But yeah, I was a big print guy. I love that.
I had like boxes, like I said, that I would save my EGMs, and I take them out and just read them like way later. I just loved it. I don't know why. And certain things I would like reread old like reviews, at the time. So I was moving, and I had them in my mom's van because I was like moving stuff with her van. And then she's like, oh, like, do you want these? I'm like, yes, I need those. She put them like outside her van, which is like next to the alley, and they were gone. Someone had picked them up and took them. And I'll never forget it. And I don't know if I'll ever forgive her. Like, it was just so bad.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should.
They were like at least like three like crates of like stacked. And it was just, they were so precious to me. And I'm not like a big collector of like most things at all. So for me to like hang on to them, but I think the allure for me, like the segments of it, and I would start with the reviews, and then I would go back to like the like, what would you call, like the think pieces. And then they'd have some deep dive into the history of like old Japanese like consoles for whatever reason, and then they the letters to the editors and stuff, and then having them respond to it. I loved the format of like the different sections. And now I don't know if its tastes have changed or whatever, like you're saying. If you're looking for reviews, you'll find a million like YouTube commentators or influencers that are streaming stuff, and they just play the games in front of you, and it's like, it's so different of an experience. And then you're okay, I want to have a discussion or have someone write something intelligent about the gaming space right now. Like, you're not getting that on just any random like website that still exists. Like, it's just like shock value articles and like, oh, this leaked, and like, it's just such a different space now. And I miss those days where the days of print where the pace, was slower, and I waited for that monthly magazine to come in. So I want to support it. I want to experience it again for nostalgia factor reasons, and I just thought it was interesting. So Game Informer still alive, making a push.
That's dirt cheap too.
They're giving it away literally. So.
Yeah, that's basically $2 an issue, or lower, and. And I don't know if how much they're changing, but like the original Game Informers, those were thick. Those were decent sized magazines, so they had a lot. Just production wise, it was quite the beast. So
this is a quote from them. We love having one of the longest running magazines in gaming, and this hopefully will enable us to carry on this legacy for many more years to come, Game Informer said. And this is like the note at the end of the article. Game Informer's parent company, GameStop, laid off staff at the magazine in 2022, and in the years that followed, the company's share price has soared in 2021 in a short squeeze situation led by Reddit investors. GameStop to the moon. GameStop's share price has come back down since, but is still up more than 500%. in the last 5 years. So that was like the little editor's note. But like, in case you forgot, like this whole situation with GameStop is.
They did a movie with Paul Dano about this, for God's sake.
Did you see it? I thought
I've
I'm
not.
Like, I don't
I've
know.
not yet.
I'm not so sure about that one.
Paul Dano is one of those guys I will watch him do anything.
Oh, okay.
So it's
They
so
got the
I
right
think that's really
actors
it's like, well, they've got Paul Dano, but they've also got Pete Davidson, who I kind of don't want to see ever. So it's
I didn't know he
very
was in that.
very
Oh my
balanced.
God.
Yeah, they play brothers. They play brothers.
Okay.
in that.
They're
it's-
shorting the stock and all
Yep,
that. Oh
yep.
my God.
So
Excellent.
I'll probably find it when it comes out on streaming or something like that. But I haven't been to theaters in so long.
I hear you. I feel your pain. Oh, you know that sound. That is the caboose. We're wrapping up the show today, and we like to do so by bringing you a recommendation of something that's outside of gaming, if we have any other time to do so. I was scrolling on Threads earlier today, and I saw a post, and it was about just like, what are you doing this weekend type thing, and people were commenting, and there was someone who was like, oh, I found this Netflix anime called Delicious in Dungeon. And that was enough to pique my interest, so I went into the post a little bit that they had said, and they're like, oh yeah, it's it's this anime on Netflix, and it's really decent. So here's what this thing is. Have you heard of it, Evan?
I've heard the name. Yep.
Delicious
I've not
in
watched
Dungeon. So it's
Yep.
it's an anime on Netflix about a party of adventurers who are down on their luck, and they just so happen to fall on such hard times and become so poor that they can't afford food or the means to put like armor on and supplies to go dungeon diving. So it's set in just this like kind of fantasy world where that's their job, and it's like their 9 to 5, and that's like what they're doing. And it has nothing but like classic D&D like tropes and all that in there, and it's cute and stuff. And they have to resort to eating monsters that they kill because they're so dirt poor. So they start to like do this like out of necessity, and they meet different characters that kind of are interested too, and they're like, okay, well, I guess we could do this. And it's just like hilarious because it's like you're not supposed to like eat monsters in the lore of the world, but you totally could. And some people have tried, and then they run into this guy who's like, oh yeah, I'll eat a blob cube or whatever. He's like, you just gotta cook them. You just gotta cook them right. He's like,
Sure, absolutely.
He's like this one mage who's in the party is just like obsessed with like not eating anything like too weird, and she's like, all right, I'm not gonna eat the zombies, I'm not gonna eat anything that's like this or that, like I'm not gonna eat a bat, like she's like, but I'll try the walking mushrooms or whatever. And it's just like, it looks, if you ever played like Monster Hunter, or you played or you've seen anime, food is a big part of like, sometimes they just do food really well. Just the animations of it, if you've seen any Miyazaki stuff, like
the cooking subgenre of animes, where it's focused on a particular, a restaurant or something like that. That was that's such a I love stupid niche anime. Like it's just why is this there was a tennis one, I think it was Tennis Hero or Tennis.
Oh my God, that sounds delicious.
And it's amazing. It's I love them so much. There's another one that hits my buttons. I don't know where it is for streaming. It came out a few years ago. It is called After School Dice Club, and it is about this group of girls in this high school that start an after school board game club. But the gimmick is that every episode uses a real game, like a real board game that you can buy, and it teaches you how to play it.
What?
It maybe not teaches, like you couldn't probably play it right after watching the episode, but it goes through how to play it, and they play it in the episode, and there's all this drama around the different things, and it's really funny. As far as I know, they only done one season, but it's very enjoyable. But again, is that super niche nonsense anime that I love the hell out of.
God bless anime. So I found it right here. This is the synopsis for After School Dice Club. Mika is an introverted high schooler who does not socialize with her classmates. However, she wants to know what fun really is. She wants to get the true meaning of fun. One day after school, she crossed paths with a classmate who takes her on a little adventure, opening a way to change her withdrawn life. Aw, isn't this great? So I recommend it. You want to see Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix. After School Dice Club can be found on Crunchyroll. It looks adorable.
Of course.
It looks adorable.
It is very adorable.
Excellent. Any caboose for you? Any other caboose, or you want?
Well,
it to be Dice Club?
we could count that. We could count the After School Dice
Excellent.
Club.
I like that.
But let's do that. Let's do that.
Perfect.
It's much
So
better than what I have.
Watch
planned,
some anime. Come on, get out
Lots
there.
of anime.
Get out there, people. Live your best life and watch some anime. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Mega Dads Live. Please join the conversation with us in our Discord. That's right, Mega Dads have a Discord. We hang out, we talk, we just, throw memes back and forth, chat about the latest gaming news, make friends, play games together whenever we get a chance. So search us out. The Mega Dads Discord is open. And as always, tell a friend about Mega Dads. The podcast can be found wherever you get your podcasts. Look for Mega Dads Live and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. All of your support. I can't even stand it. It's disgusting how much I love all you guys. Thank you so much. Evan, thank you for being here. I think we knocked it out of the park. I think we did great.
Thank you.
Fuck you, Adam. You can't keep us down.
Yeah. You're not needed anymore. You're done.
Retired.
Go do whatever.
Forcefully retired.
Away with you.
We'll see you next time.